So good evening and welcome to Donny Chaingang, live with me, Matt Payne, down here in the Full Speed Events Soul Beer Cellar Studios. We have a star-packed lineup tonight on the Donny Chaingang because we've been joined by the one and only Neil Stevens, who's down on the start line. The riders coming in thick and fast at the moment. Jimmy Allen's joined us again. The Wolf joining the Bear here tonight. And of course, Mr. Stevens, well known for his rides in on the road, his work at GCN Eurosport, and of course on Swift as well. A real character, and great to have Matt back with us, one of my colleagues, and great to have him on the gang. So let's see how he gets on tonight. Looking forward to the video when he's done. Quick heads up, quick reminder, if you are watching this and planning on jumping on board, if you're going to register just to join a ride, you need to register before the 1 hour cutoff. That 1 hour cutoff is there so we can eliminate spam bots, some people who are going to do a flyers, people who are just disruptive, people who are just plain mean. So just, if in doubt, make sure you enter 25 hours to 1 hour before just to register to join. It's free to ride. If you want to help us out in keeping the show on the road, keeping the wheels on the gang, and making sure everybody is riding nice and smoothly and we can keep on going, then please don't hesitate to join the DCG gang. We've got lots of great goodies coming out to the members of the DCG gang once again. Remember, of course, in December, giving away well over £2,000 worth of kit to everybody who's on there, plus all the discount codes from all our fantastic suppliers. So please don't hesitate to jump onto the website or onto the Facebook page. Now, we are in Greater London Flat, one of our staple diets, our benchmarks to see how everybody's riding, whether they can keep it all together. And the man who is going to be charged with holding them all together is the Yellow Beacon. This is Russ down in the Bear himself. Hopefully going to be on form, and hopefully his back is a little bit more resistant to everything else on the way around. We'll soon find out, because hopefully on the end of the line is one Russ Downing. Russ, how are you?
I'm all right, mate.
How's the back, more importantly?
It's good, mate. You know, Simeon, Hemsel, magic hands and all that. But, yeah, it's getting there. You know, steady ride yesterday online, and then a lot of stretching. That's all I can say. You know, there's no point in stretching any time before there's an injury, is there, really? No, joking apart, that's the only time I stretch, and it's too late. It's too late by then. But no, it's
Classic
coming good.
cyclist.
The cold weather's not helping.
No,
exactly.
It's classic cyclist, isn't it? We all do it. We all, basically, the only time I think most cyclists stretch is when they're injured, and by then it is too late. You know, you're just doing remedial work and just limiting the damage rather than being preventative, which is what we should all do, but that's typical cyclists. Now, we're on Greater London Flats, and I understand we're joined by Matt Stevens, who's been in touch with you.
Yeah, he's online. I think he's in the chat now. He's just messaged me earlier. Said he's panicking. He's on his cross bike, I think, that's on a one bike, and he's struggling, thinking he's going to be struggling on gears. I just told him I've done the old track style and up to my gear on the old Wahoo kicker bike, so that's put him in a panic. Tis was, and yeah, let's look after him for a bit and then see how much pain we can put on him, really. But I'm sure we'll leave that to the others and not me dishing the pain out.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an interesting evening with the course, our classic course. Any tips for some newbies? We do have some new riders on tonight.
Yeah, I've seen a few newbies on the set. By the sound of it, they've all been watching from the sideline, so they should know more than us how to do it. You know, it's so much easier watching it. But you know, long story short, stay around Yellow Beacon. You know, it'll be a steady ramped effort with a bit of a go, no, call it what you wish at the end. And yeah, after that, find your group and roll into the finish. And Greater London Flat for the newbies, they've picked a good one to start with. You know, it's quite steady from the off. Well, hopefully if people listen, and then we'll give it some at the end.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to see. I think we could well have quite a few late joiners. I know a number of people just getting the just got a raft of bounce backs actually out of people's emails of the link tonight. So quite a few people just getting the link late. If you haven't got it yet, currently we're on 6 times it's been emailed actually out to everybody in an attempt to get it through. But it looks like one particular person's email has jammed the entire system. Thank you very much, sir. You'll know who you are later, believe me, because we keep on having to send it out. So may well be we're going to get some late joiners as well, but the vast majority of people getting the email coming through before that tried to jam up the system. So it could well be a few people jumping on nice and late, but we will see how it's going to be running. And with 3 minutes to go, Russ, I'll let you go out and keep the troops entertaining. Sorry, brief the troops of exactly how fast they're going to be going.
Yeah, it looks like, we're on 116 signings at the minute. So, yeah, I think Matt Stevens must have told the world that he's coming on, and they've all come to ride with him. So, yeah, cheers for that, Matt.
And, of course, once it goes over 100, you can't see the front if you're at the back and vice versa. So, going to be a case of people just trying to make sure they can see the yellow beacon. It's pretty simple. Even I can see the yellow beacon. I ain't got the best eyesight in the world. So good luck, Russ. We'll catch up with you hopefully somewhere out on the ride.
Yeah, and like I said, look for that big yellow bright thing in the sky. I know we've not seen much sunshine lately, but yeah, the yellow beacon online, that's where I am. So come and find me.
Excellent. Love it. Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, mate. Have a good ride.
So great to catch up with Russ out on the Chaingang at the moment, just lined up on the start line. Let's show you where we're heading. So we're heading to 2 minutes to go. The rider's going to be heading out on a Greater London Flat. So we have our traditional course. It's our benchmark course where we know how people are riding, who's going well, who's not going so well. Good to see that we've got Andy Hawes, our stand-in beacon, is in. So Andy, our red beacon, doing the sweeping up at the back of the group. Well over 130 riders now ticking into the system slowly but surely. So going to be really a busy one tonight. The rider's going to set off on the red section of the map. So starting top right hand corner of your screen, rolling the way down and into Greater London Flat, round what is the classic section of the course and up the mile up Constitution Hill before dropping down and going round in a clockwise direction round the side of the Thames, climbing back up towards the Serpentine and then dropping back down and in through that mole sprint. 3 laps of 11.6k. We finish at the mole sprint arch at 40.5k. And the warm down to the Blue Banner, 2.5 kilometres. Total elevation at 203 metres. So our riders have what is essentially a relatively straightforward course, a roll-in of just under 6k and then 3 laps of just under 12 kilometres each. Important thing to remember, 40.5 is the finish line at the mole sprint. Our riders, once we move off our Zwift Hacks map, have this in store 3 times over. A massive thank you to Ben Lowe and all of the team at VeloViewer. They're absolutely critical for not just the graphics, but of course for us to be able to make sure that we get all the stats, make sure that we can get all the planning right. Greater London Flat, fortunately, we do know inside out. We come in on the top right-hand corner, drop down the mile towards the joint of the 3 points of the course, up to the left-hand dead-end turn, around the turn at top of Constitution Hill, come back down around the side of the pass, and then onto this big D, capital D section at the bottom. And it is very, very important if the riders are heading down around that section, they stay quite close, because the moment that we go up on to the climb up out, you can see those gradients, not particularly steep, 1% and 2%, but that is when it starts to split, and that is when the groups can get distanced on the way through. And that's why it's critical as you climb up through, drop down the underpass, the general break point for the group, up to the high point of the course at the top centre of the map. And the riders stay as close as they can at the back, and the front don't push over the top. If the front pushes up over the top, then what we find is that the gaps will open and our riders are very, very quickly in trouble. Now our red beacon looks like he's got away nice and smoothly, just mopping up people, just making sure he catches everybody who's on the way through. So it looks like everybody on the road, which is great to see. So the gang are well and truly underway, and looks like the riders moving smoothly. Let's go join them on the ride here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. So you can see our red beacon at the moment just going underneath the Prudential Ride London banner as he makes his way down. Andy Hawes in the Pinarello blue, the La Squadra blue there. Gone for a set of Manstein lightweight wheels, probably not too applicable tonight, quite simply because we're not going to need those. We have 0 hills essentially, and Andy's not going to have a problem on them. Great experienced rider, standing in tonight and doing a great job already. He's already done several stints as our red beacon. A massive thank you to everybody who volunteers for that red beacon run. The ability to ride at about 2.5 watts per kilo, to be able to find random pictures of red buses, and of course to have a well-stocked gin supply or similar is key. And speaking of gin, you can see Miss Cookie already onto the wheels. Miss Cookie, who enjoys a good blobbing, jumping up in with the gang and looking to be a integral part of that blob, and hopefully this group able to stick together with the back of the main blob up in front. It is all about making sure the riders get together nice and quickly. We're going to try and get a little bit of a drone cam shot as we take our drone up in the air here. So this group at the back that is starting to form around Andy, just starting to get a little bit closer together, and it's going to be an early bus if they don't make it up on to Constitution Hill. So let's have a little bit of a run down through the group. So Andy Hawes nicely tucked in here. Looks like Dave Fulton. Looks like, I think, Chris Jones just tucking in as well. Miss Cookie, we've already mentioned, of course, in the gang here. Final run out before no doubt heading down to support Ethan. He'll be down at the National Cyclocross Championships, which is where we're heading pretty much the end of this show. So the gang just trying to get on there now. This back group needs to squeeze on up. Currently the gap about 6 to 8 seconds, and already seeing the groups are just starting to get distance. Looks like it must be pretty quick up at the front. We may well be taking one of our less usual runs up to go check on the watts per kilo up at the very front of the group. And the aim here is to drop it down around about that 2 watts per kilo to get the gang together until we hit onto the main section. The problem is if you get distanced out of the blocks, the gang very, very difficult to jump into. Now, good to see we've got Monica Dew in here, one of our great pro riders in here. Let's take a little bit of a jump. Monica riding in that Wahoo kit here. So Monica, one of our pros, joining us in with the gang tonight. We've got Becky Story, another of our regular riders on the Donny Chaingang, one of our fastest finishers always when it comes to the chain gang, and a rider who should indeed be in that Movie Star kit, progressing from those academy trials. Great to see she's managed to make the most of that experience and pick up a great run. We've got, let's have a look, play Gagan in here. Gagan running for that Aeonian squad. They're going to be back in action, I'm sure, next week. Good to see we've got the return of the legendary Rob Copeland. My goodness, Rob, where have you been all my life? Rob Copeland, super lightweight man, a very, very smart cookie indeed, and a very quick rider indeed. See how he's going to be getting on. Just having a little bit of a check. Fiona Kesterman, good to have Fiona back in as well. Fiona in the academy jersey in the pink up there. Just having a little look, a little run through the gang here. Good to see Mr. Mason has made it in now that it's not a hilly ride. Looks like he's going to be in and running. We've got Dale Williams on board, Tom Elliott. Looks like Steve Hilbert in the gang, Tracy Seeley in here, John Woodbridge is in. Mr. Woodbridge, don't you be stretching those legs too much. I've seen a little start. She's been doing her notes, finals for the National Cross Champs. Just running away through Tim Baggs is in here, Josh Malin from Halo, one of our key supporters of the Chaingang supporters of the DCG gang. Just taking on one. Got Issa in here. Now Rossini in, Peacock on the game, Shade in here, Gibbo in as well. Looks like Tim Baggs riding smooth. So Damien Clayton in with the gang. Got to watch out for this man, the DHB, the Conan DHB man sat in here and looks on the gang and keeping nice and smooth. Remember, you can only see the nearest 100 riders, and according to this, there's not many people round our red beacon. If the screens are to be believed, let's have a little bit of a check and see if that's really the case. Let's drop to our red beacon, and are you ready? Here they come. So our riders all around and in the gap in between. You can see a constant stream pretty much from the red beacon all the way to the yellow, well strung out already tonight. We don't even hit the circuit yet, and the gap's starting to open out. So we're going to take a little bit of a roll back through the group. Just taking a little bit of a check. So from Andy Hawes, we've got Martin Bolt and Miss Cookie at the moment, just off the back of that gang. So Martin on the road, just trying to get in. So clearly gaps at the front, and the gaps starting to open up. So it looks like Clark and Scotland in no man's land. James Little currently in no man's land. So is Jeff Sayso, Mr. Dobbs. I think all distance the back of the group already strayed out. The gaps opening between. This is group number 5, I think, on the road according to the timing screens. As the riders make their way down around, they're going to go through the mall sprint before going up onto Constitution Hill. So looks like the red beacon group at the moment. The bus already formed, currently 30 seconds down on the back of the last rider in the bunch. Just about as they come into Parliament Square. As Andy Hawes shepherds the pack on the way through there. So looks like Mick Clark, Andy Scott, and Dave Fulton, Paul Hunsley already in that pack. Keith Richards just making his way through. So it looks like Andy Singleton just rolling around with that bunch on their way through. The red group is looking good at the moment. So a bit further up the road, looks like Matt Stevens now distance from the yellow beacon group. So Stevens off the back. So tricky spot from the red beacon group. That very fast start out catches a number of riders. So it looks to me like we've just got a little bit of a tick on this sheer volume of riders in the bunch. Just causing to push pretty quickly. We're just trying to work our way back in towards the back of the group. We'll see just how many riders there are and how fast they're rotating, how long it takes us to get through the gang. And then it's a big jump back. So Jeff Sacer and Neil Coe all rolling in around the back of that pack. So it looks like Matt Stevens just about to get onto the back of the pack here. How's Matt Stevens? The answer is just about hanging on at the moment, just pushing his way into the back of that pack there. So just about managing to jump on to the back of that group. Isaac Oliver just rolling around the back there. So this is the back of the group. Remember, heading for 150 riders actually on the riding total. Whatever the numbers it says on the screen, so I believe me, actually know how many truly you're on. It's a lot more than you'll see on your companion or on the top right hand side of your screen, that is for sure. And they always tell different tales, as you're probably aware. At the moment, just seeing the gang all holding around the back of the pack here. So Liam Calloway in the gang here, looks like Jimmy Allen in the back. Good to see Russ Bushnell, the racers good. A huge amount of DCG gang riders racing at the national cyclocross. So it looks like Jeff Sacer about to get picked up by this group. He wasn't already in there. So the red beacon, the red bus going well. It's definitely going to be a double decker. It's going to be a double decker with a trailer on the back, I think, by the time we get round today. The group riding well. Good to see the red beacon group already in operation and riding strong. So one rider's not with us at the moment is Beefy. Colin Bell from Cycle Waste, not on the right side, just suffering from a bit of a chest infection by the look of it. He does have a message from Mr. Kipling, which is basically get your finger out, mate. make sure that you're in there at the finale. We'll see. Now, Richardson just distanced out of that group, now going to be in trouble unless it can really push on here. This is dangerous ground to be in, so Cameron Richardson has got to put in a big effort here. Let's keep the check, going to push into the back of that group. Chris Idell yo-yoing around the back now. Idell just off the back, he's got to keep pushing, because as you can see, Idell now being distanced out the back of the pack, and once you go, you can soon be in trouble. Idell could well be heading back into the group. You can see Morning here, one of our regular cross riders and riders on the chain gang. Cecil leading the pack here. This is the Red Beacon group. Red Beacon group is actually pushing on almost quicker than the Yellow Beacon at the moment. They're just starting to make slight inroads, 34 seconds down. So this group, Andy Hall sitting at 2.1, just stuck in at the back with Dave Fulton at 2.5. So the Beacon just taking a ride up, making sure nobody gets dropped off the back of that pack. So looks like a few strong riders having gone back to go give some assistance now. Chris Idell just starting to pick the pace up. Looks like Taylor just tucked at the back there. Disgusting lack of socks, Mr. Taylor. Definite lack of style points from Nick Dorsey if you were to be spotted with that lack of sock action at the as he would be making a few comments, I'm sure. So Russell Osman in the group with Jump Off Mr. Robert, who's currently getting the cyclocross action in there. Let's have a little bit of a check. So Amy riding, another of our real regular riders on the chain gang. Just have Amy back in action on the chain gang. Mr. Olsworth tucked in the back, just on the side there of Jimmy Allen. Jimmy going for the full aero option today. Big disc on the back, deep rim on the front. It's going to make a big difference on this, because it's absolutely into aerodynamics. It is pure aero, this course. No need for anything like whatsoever anywhere around this circuit. It just isn't that kind of a circuit, but it's all about sitting into the back of the pack. It's like Gail Phillips in here, Ruby Isaacs in. Ruby, of course, going to be in here. Good to see Ruby Isaac, one of our regular riders on the Donny Chaingang, back in the gang once again. So good to have Ruby with us on the chain gang. Mr. Woodbridge definitely running the national chance. Tom Elliott in here as well. Mr. Wilson in the gang. Paul Mallon in here. Just having a little bit of a run through Campbell in this pack. Gary Patterson in as well. Johnson sitting in this pack. Rick Hawkins in here. Darryl Thomas is in here. It's like Andy Watson in the gang. You can see Andy Ross in here. Andy should be in the tri-kit. He is indeed. And one of the riders who we know on this circuit's going to be looking pretty good shape normally as he runs in towards the finish. Taylor having just moved up. Oscar Saxton in here as well. Mr. Kipling, I hope you get the message from Beefy. Just going to take a little bit of a run on the road. Super Sprinter Sonia should be on good territory today. Hashtag Super Sprinter Sonia on all your posts for Sonia. Looks like she's gone deep rim as well, so wants to accelerate something a little bit quicker than the just for that final super sprint. Good to have Amy in here. Mr. Lavery, of course, just getting some communication out of Morris and the troops, which is good to see. Craig all in there. So the gang just nicely forming now. Finally worked out that there's plenty of time to go and finally blow itself up into the group. Okay, sat in there. Let's have a little bit of a check. Stevens should be ticking around this group. So how's Matt Stevens doing at the moment? No heart rate on Matt Stevens today. He's taking a day off from the heart rate. Interestingly, gone for a lightweight bike on a flat circuit. Not always the most easiest of options. The performance of disc deep wheels is fairly tame on this circuit, but looks like Matt just pushing his way up near the front here. So Stevens in the orange, just making a move on towards the gutter. Going to be practicing some cross moves if he's not careful. Bouncing up onto the curb, but you can see just how quickly it bounces up and around. Stevens now starts to drop back in down to the pack. Remember, this is the nearest 100 riders to Matt at the moment. So it's like the pressure over the top of the hill string, the gang up. We're going to try and get back to Andy Hawes, our beacon, who is going to be bringing the bus round. Going to manoeuvre it through the tight twists and turns of London. So the bus is just about to come up on to the top. Looks like Abbott at the moment, just out the back there, sitting at 3 watts per kilo. So I've gone back to cyclocross action. If you jump out now, mate, you've got about 4 minutes to jump back in again. Late join goes in for half an hour. So Abbott, if you are watching live, I would jump out now. Getting ready, then jump back in again. It should spit you back into the middle of the bunch. And this group just about holding together as it comes on to the mile. Let's take a little look. So it looks like Russ at the moment, just at the back. The companion messages that Russ is sending out, not jumping up on screen by the look of it, just having a quick conversation with him simultaneously. Now Russ comes up on screen. So, tapping away, nothing happening. It is now, it's back. Maybe you only need to communicate on the Melrose if you're listening, which is, I know you will be, often the way to go. So, So the red beacon now currently sitting at 50 seconds off the main group. So good to see Mr. Hunsley tucked in this group at the moment. This gang working well together. The chain gang the main gang at the moment. Still got a little bit of a gap open to Russell, so he's got company though. Tim Cooper, Richard Langmead, I think, going to be pulling him back. It looks like Clyde Gagan just jumped in with Chris Idell at the moment. So Gagan going for the full disc as well on the back, and they're just going to be squeezing into the back of that pack. The back of the group in threes and fours is very dangerous ground which come off the back of the main group. And at the moment, Idell, Gagan and Campbell just starting to fight the win. Andy Hawes on Hawes Tours out and bringing the tour guide experience to our riders as they make their way down around that turn, just about to get back onto the group. Looks like Dobbs currently at a couple of seconds off the back of that group. Then Taylor on the way up there. Let's take a little bit of a check through. So is going to be the red beacon behind Taylor, Patterson in front, then Seyssel, then Jessup. So I think, Claire Jessup jumping in. Then it's Dobbs, then it's going to be Gagan, the tail end of the chain gang already starting to shed riders. They come through. Campbell distanced, Idell distanced, Richards just about holding the back. Come on, Sonny, you've got to squeeze on here. You're actually at the back of the pack. If you look behind, absolutely nobody. It's absolutely key. Make sure you know what your numbers do. If you're riding on Swift in a group, key is to make sure you know which number 6 does, which sends the rear view. Number 2 gives you your standard front view. If you want a look at where you are in the bunch, number 9 gives you a top view. And don't forget, of course, if you want that nice cinematic one, well, that's number 7. That, of course, the gang gets very, very interesting when you can't see all of the riders now. Andy Hawes continues his way down here. I think their next rider that's going to be joining him is going to be Taylor. So Hawes Tours about to go pick up another rider, Chris Taylor, the rider who's in danger of seeing the bus coming pretty quickly. So if we just jump in with Taylor and just see that red beacon group coming, so time to jump on, grab a ticket on the Hawes Tours Red Bus Tours of London. So the red beacon group about to make contact and sweep Taylor up and pick him up, drop him in a seat, give him a drink, and send him around with the bus. So the bus getting riders on the way in and through. Just going to jump up to someone who's made it back into the middle of the group as they come through the Parliament Square. Nicely tucked in there. Looks like Corden in there, Amy still tucked in, just Goddard in there, Kieran Ross in there, Dale Williams, the man probably odds-on favourite for today's ride. Williams, the man who's got a good sprint on him, but just as importantly, he can go chunking his way off the front nice and early and putting an Ekimov-style attack as well. So the gang rolling along, finally settled down into a nice smooth run along. Behind we've got Andy's gang here. Taylor looks like just squeezing onto the back here. Can't afford to let that gap go. Come on, mate. This is time to squeeze, Chris. Jump into that gang. It's not moving silly speed, but you need to be within 6 meters. That's 3 bike lengths of the back of the rider in front. And that is the distance we're looking for. So Patterson currently the next rider who's likely to see that beacon coming around the turn and into sight very shortly. The beacon is coming around alongside the side of Parliament. Then be Claire Jessup. It looks like Clyde Gagan going to be seeing the bus as seeing its way down, but this main group at the front rolling nice and steady. jump in with Ted. Ted in with the back as is Cradle and Briggs just already way through the group here. Still holding plenty of good riders in there. Horse towards the red bus, just rolling, just to kind of have a little look. Looks like Chris Jones just getting a bit of a breather, just recovering, just jumping in to the gang nicely. So, Chris, in there, good to have you on the gang. Just keeping a check on the tunes in there. Dave following the only way is up. It's nice and steady, looking really, really smooth in the Red Beacon group, which is what we want to see. Matlock, internet dropping out, not good. We have a couple of backups in the studio for just such an occasion, but fortunately don't have to use it too much. Unfortunately, also you've going to miss the gap, at which point you can let the do a rejoin now. McMillan just chasing on to the back of this pack at the moment. So Colin, come on mate, time to squeeze on to the back of this group. Just steadily getting wound up here. You can just see McMillan doing 3 watts per kilo, just struggling to get into the back of the group. Can't afford to let that gap open up. You've got to push now or it's good night Vienna. As you come through that square, it breaks the rhythm up. The right, the full U-turn left, and that 90 right again. Generally, when we see issues in this group as they come up and through. So in front of us, plenty of riders. The gang coming on the way. So the Halls group now just 2 minutes and 3 about to pick up Claire. I think on the way through. Dobbs just about a minute in front of No Man's Land. So looks like Russ at the moment, the back of this group, and just in danger zone at the moment. Just taking a quick check as he comes up, so chopping. Just dropping back to give him a hand, just now working his way back up the group. So you can see the back of this pack just now starting to feel the pace as they come up the underpass. All about remembering number 6 key. Get your mirrors on, ladies and gents. So this group now just starting to get split here. So Sadler and Handley with Flynn, with McKenna, with Rose and Oldsworth, Campbell, Topple. So just holding on the back of the group. You can see them strung out as they come down. As they run down towards St James's Palace, and the riders in front as Darren pushes on the main group here. The gang just strung out a little bit at the moment. We're just going to run back up from, and the pause at the moment to Jim Flynn. So Jim on the way down, and now you can see those riders in between. So we've got Flynn, Sadler, McKenna, Rose, Handley, Oldsworth, all distanced from that main group. So Mason just tucked into the back of that pack. So Andy Hawes and the Hawes group, just the bus there, so looks like it's just ticking along now, just making the way up over the top. The Go has just gone, so Go Goat's going up as they go through the sprint line. 1 lap to go, and Russ has given them the all clear, so it's going to be 1 full lap. Quite a late Go Goat from Russ as the guys at the front now start to wind this up. The group starting to stretch out here, and you can just see, we take the camera up in the air. The front of the group looks like Clayton just starting to stretch this behind the yellow beacon. These are the nearest 100 riders, I can tell you from the numbers on the screen. It's a big, long run back. We're just going to take a little bit of a check back through from the yellow beacon now. As we drop back, it just looks like Matt Stevens having to hang on to the back of this group. Come on, Matt, time to push on. You've got to squeeze now, even if you did choose an aero bike for a flat ride. A non-aero bike, it's a climber's bike on a flat ride. It's not what you needed, but it looks like Stevens has got the power to get back on to the back of the group. He's got to squeeze hard here to get through that group. Davis kicking in at the back of there. Richards is in. We're just going to have a little bit of a look. Darren Topless just working this group, can just about get on. Gail Phillips is in here. Now Red Beacon Supremo herself in this gang needs to squeeze here to get in. Fiona Kesterville, come on Fiona, Matlock. We've got Bell in here. It looks like Inslee. Got to really be pushing on now. You cannot afford to let that gap go in front. Matlock's the man who's got Mike Killingsworth is. Sorry, my apologies, Mike. It's Mike Killingsworth who's being left to do the driving here to get into the back of that pack, but it's splitting again in front behind the pressure, and the groups are going to form fairly soon. I think we're going to have probably 4 groups in front of this by the time we've finished. And you can see it's just a trail of devastation. It's like a comet bursting through the atmosphere at the moment as the front of the group with the yellow beacon continues to push on, and as we work our way back up here, really difficult day today on the chain gang. Stevens and Co in group number 2 again, so Stevens is going to have to do a lot of work yet again to squeeze on. This group in danger. They've got Seeley in there, Terminator 2.0. They've got Gibbo in there, Langme, Kipling. Come on, Barry. Down to push. It looks like Stevens got gotten to 0 watts per kilo there. He's got a squeeze. So, excuse me, Matt just in trouble now. That next group is going to come picking him up. They're working Paul Mallin and Sir Rodney doing an awesome job to push on here. But they're going to pick up Stevens very, very shortly. Now they're going to squeeze on. Let's have a little bit of a look at what's happening up at the very front of the ride at the moment. It looks to me like this group are just watching people play silly what's just on the very front of the group. We're going to get there eventually. Just see who's gone. Oh, what a surprise. It's Damien Clayton who's gone off the front, but he's got company, and looks like Kieran Brown's going to join him. James Little just working hard to come back. To be honest, not sure I wouldn't have done the tactic as shouted for by Mr. Williams there, which was to let them work and burn themselves out on the front, let them go, and then let them do a lot of work. If you're in that pack, you're going to be getting a lot of assistance. So Taylor in here, Mayland in here, certainly being smart about this, not going too silly at the moment. Clayton and Co, though, they are the riders on the front, and just getting yo-yoed around on the app as well, which makes life very entertaining. That's for sure. Let's jump in with Monica Jew, who's in group just behind. So the gang just steadily working the way up. It looks like Stevens and Crease here. Crease just on the back now. Goddard coming. So let's have a little bit of a look. Bolton, none in there. We're going to get up to that yellow beacon group. So this is the yellow beacon group now. And it looks like they've pulled everyone basically back into the fold. As Clayton now is sat in the middle of that group. You just see the gang in here absolutely ripping along at some serious pace. Williams has touched into this group. He's going to be patrolling down the action. Remember, he has got the pacer to go hard from the front. The question is really, this is the time when you're going to be able to prove that you can walk the walk as well as talk the talk. The people who are vocal on the message boards early on, then we never see him again as the ride rips up. Well, this is where they're definitely usually found wanting. This is where the gap's open now. Good to see we've got Becky Story still sat in this group. The rider tucked in there along with Claire Richardson as well. So it looks like if it is the right C Richardson, we're going to do a double check. It's a different C Richardson. We're just going to take a look. We've got multiple C Richardsons in the just to make life difficult. We've got a number of Jameses in there as well. There's a Rob Copeland and a Story in there. Looks like Taylor just rolling his way around the front. Woodall doing the same. The gang not doing too much damage at the moment, as we now see another move going off down the road. The yellow beacon this time starting to rip it up here. Little has gone over the top of him, so Little now going over the top. Lindley and Cook responding. Mayland and Williams doing the same. Clayton just caught napping a little bit further back. Too much time spent tapping on the keyboards and not paying attention. So the group going. So it is Little who's now leading this out. They are strung out behind this one long thin line in pursuit of him. Lindley's going after him. Then Williams, Cook, Clayton, Booth in there. Easter's in there. Kieran Brown's in there. It is just one long thin strung out line as they motor the way down. The gang are working hard here. Isaac Oliver's pushing here. Let's have a little bit of a look. So Becky Story is just squeezing on Scott Claire Richardson. This is that same Sue Richardson who says comfortably honest gov. Just tucked in, hopefully, if we get them right. But Story riding well at the moment. So here we go, Claire Richardson tucked in that group with Becky Story here. This has got Amy Dench in there, and looks like this group just tucked in with our leaders at the moment. So the leading group goes through, and you can see a very, very quick night here on the Donny Chaingang. The rest just tucked at the back of that group, I think. Now let's have a little look. Jimmy Allen is in here, the old man who stands in for the Bear, and he's on holiday. It is Jimmy Allen nicely tucked in here. Remember, this is the last Donny Chaingang of the week. This week we'll be back next week. We've got 3 Chaingangs next week. We have 2 standard open Donny Chaingangs for male and female riders. We have the women's only Wednesday as well, and that will be on, guess when? Wednesday. So next week 2 DCGs, Tuesday and Thursday. The WOW DCG on Wednesday. 3 Chaingang week next week. So going to be a really busy week on the Donny Chaingang as this group goes through. Scott Easton now starting to push up towards the front of the group. So Kieran Brown back on the front again. A slight pause in hostilities, really. The pace is pretty quick, but nothing too drastic in this course because the terrain at the moment doesn't support a long-range attack. You can keep the pressure on. You can distance riders in 1s and 2s, which is what's happening. Kieran Brown on the front at the moment. Clayton on the back. 2 of our regular winners separated by the main front group, and this leading group of riders still looking like it's about at 35 to 40 riders strong. Going to make a big difference if it stays at that size. Now a group just changing, and guess what, we've got another rider going onto the front, and this time Russ goes up to the front, but doesn't go anywhere particularly quickly that time round. So we're going to see a sneak attack there whilst Clayton was napping at the back, but not to be. Now riders now coming down in towards the underpass. This leading group still all together. And the pass just starts to appear now. Russ goes again. So Russ with another dig here. That back clearly holding out. He's doing 8 watts per kilo just to go clear. That doesn't take too many with him. Kieran Brown just lifts the pace slightly. As Downing in to the tunnels at the moment. Continue to open up the gap here. So it's Downing from Brown, Copeland, Cook, Potts, Little, all in this group. Over the top goes Potts now. As Potts goes up onto the front, we're about to hit this climb. And you can just see Williams is at the back of this group. So Dale Williams just sitting on the back here. Not doing too much work, just taking that little bit of a rest if he can on the way through. Now, who is going to be able to open up the throttles enough to stretch this out? AD Dench now goes up on to Waterfront as Clayton hits the front. It's going to be Clayton who's starting to string it out again. Immediately behind him, it is Kieran Brown from the Sherwood Pines squad. So you can just see one lined out group here as they go. So Damien Clayton, Kieran Brown, Simon Booth. Then it's going to be Richardson. So Richardson just pushing at the moment. That's Cam Richardson in the black. Leading women, Claire Richardson, and along with Becky Story in that group. Cam Richardson just pushes up onto the back of Williams, who's in 3rd spot at the moment, goes past him. So Clayton in 1. It's then Cam Richardson in 2, just going up over the top. As they come up towards the corner, and Jimmy Allen coming through at some serious pace there. So Jimmy Allen is going to carry that pace through up onto the front of the group. So Allen knows that he's got to be on as you come round that corner. Now, are we going to see a split here in this group? Are we going to see a decisive junction being made now? Thorpe goes on to the front, so it's Thorpe goes in, but now comes Clayton. And as we take the left-hand turn, there's a slight rise of that riser, one of the key trigger points to go on as we go through. It's currently 1%. This is where you want to go hard. This slight rise is where you can split it if you go hard enough and early enough. And just seeing, I think, just a move from Taylor as he moves up towards the front. Jimmy Allen rolls off the front of this. The pack, though, behind being led in, it looks like, by Russ Downing. He's bringing this group back together again. This is going to come down to a phenomenal sprint. Now, Genther's just put in a draft to take himself through that pack and maybe just give his legs a little bit of a rest. So just riding in with Williams. Williams in that pink and black. Hot favourite as we make our way down this straight here. Will he be able to make this his around the turn? We go in towards Admiralty Arch. You can't leave it much longer. You've got to go relatively early on this one, and you can start to see people winding up. Now Williams comes at 15 watts per kilo. Clayton's gone on the front. Williams has timed it, I think, right here. He's going to go past Clayton like he stood still at 17 watts per kilo. Behind Richardson, he's trying to answer him, but that gantry is going to come up. It's coming up very, very quickly indeed, and you can just see that all strung out behind. It's going to be Williams who's going to get this. Then it's going to be Richardson in second, Little in third, Mayland in fourth, Allen in fifth, Brown, Thorpe and Co. all come screaming in and through. Great riding as they come down that straight there. We're going to drop back to Becky Story, as Becky Story is going to be our first female rider home. The Movistar rider comes in through. Great ride by Becky as well as she comes in and across the line that time. Templeman goes through Lavery, then I think it's going to be Claire Richardson, our second female rider in and through the line. So another good ride by Claire this time. Going to come in ahead of Keith Richardson. So Richardson, one of our riders, has been beacon before. Going to come in and through. Got the straight pretty much to himself as he goes down the straight here. The riders behind, it's going to be a group of three riders coming in together behind. and come in and under the line. So Richardson goes through. Then the next group in is going to be Kooslugs in here. So it's Kooslugs in the red and white. Fletcher's going on the right-hand side here. Fletcher's gone hard. Fletcher's going to take this. So Fletcher's got the lace. Kooslugs is going to come second out of this group. 3 out of 3. Well, it's going to be Kai Hurst, but immediately behind. This is the group with Tim Cooper coming in, and a huge amount of the gang coming through simultaneously. Massive pack here. Dixon Moore in there. Simon Runnett was in there. Looks like Chris Idell was in that group. Ben Cokin now goes through. Woodbridge heading for the line, just going to get rolled there. So Chris Espejo goes through. Then it's going to be Goddard and Paul going to be our next rider into the finish. So Alex Paul just going through. Then it's going to be Gibbo, I think, he's going to go over the top. McDermott goes in. So McDermott, oh, look at this. There's a massive sprint come from Cooling, though. Cooling's gone hard. We can just about catch up with Cooling. He's the rider in the green, so Cooling goes. And then it's going to be Carl Johnson right with him. A very, very quick sprint. McDermott goes through. Garfoot's gone through. Briggs in there. And I think I've just seen Matt Stevens come through the finishing line. So in he goes. Matt Stevens goes through. He's off on those pedals. 0 ref 0. What's not surprised? That was very, very quick. Barry Kipling going through with him. Monica Jude just going through the line that time as well. Good ride there by Monica. Tracy Seeley in that gang. So Sonia Inslee now in through the line. So super sprinter Sonia goes through ahead of this group, taking that sprint. I think once again, I don't think that's going to be too big of a stretch. We're going to have to just work our way back up. Gail Phillips in through the line as well. Senior coming in through the finish. We're going to try and drop back to our next riders. There's going to be some sandwiched in between here. We're just going to check there's nobody else on the run in. So looks like it's going to be Mason who's got the group behind him. So you've got Bell, Topless, Spencer in this group. They're all just taking a little bit of a look up here. So Darren Topless knows exactly where to go here. I think he's just put the draft in just as you come underneath the arch, just trying to get a draft. But the feather flag's in on a -2% there by Mason. But Spencer is kicking well. Mason's still got plenty in the tank though. He's going at 9 watts per kilo. Is he going to hold them off? Mason with the feather flag over his head there, ahead of the man with the draft on as he goes in to the line, absolutely flying his way through. Great little group. Another Donny Chaingang group going in and through the line. It looks like Bell coming through, chasing hard there. We're going to go back, I think, to Caldwell, who is going to be chasing Luke Handley. Luke currently has Caldwell behind him, Shade, Dobbs, Oldsworth, McKenna. Looks like Rose and Flynn still making their way in, through and round. So Luke Handley on his way in towards the line. It's been a pretty quick chain gang. Let's see what Russ has to make of it. Russ, that was rapid.
Yeah, as you probably found out through our cryptic WhatsApp messages, you know, and if you ever did a typo, you were out the back. It was just so fast, and I messaged you when the go was going to go, and I've just pulled my phone up and down. There's a load of question marks because I didn't even really read the message. I didn't have time. I just sent it and thought you'd siphon the best of what you could out of it, but I put go on the line and it came out with something else. I can't remember what it said.
Yeah, no, it was quite entertaining, but yeah, kind of like I must admit, it's as people may have guessed, Russ and I have a constant dialogue going. We say it's constant, it's not, because Russ has to focus on the riding, and yours truly is attempting to focus on everybody coming to the line. Rich Shade, another of our regulars, about to hit the line here, so good riding by Rich. He's going to go through the line ahead of Dobbs, chasing all the way to the line. Then it's going to be Oldsworth just coming in here. And yeah, we've got a few things to focus on as well as the communication. Good to see just how quick that was. And really interesting that Barry Kipling was just saying to me that he'd got in front of Matt Stevens and I think rolled him on the line there. So Stevens coming in about group number 4 or 5 today.
I blame it on his cross bike, one by gears or something now. No, Matt, or maybe his Doritos that he had for lunch. But it's great to have Matt on board tonight. He loves the DCG, and I don't know, does it? He's always on some event doing something and pulls one out of the bag and comes and ride with us, and joins in the chat as well. He doesn't just jump on and do the stuff. So it's great to have Matt on board. And he did mention online, myself and him and Dino have done a podcast with Sigma Sports, so that'll be going out soon. So it's all good fun. And what do we have on tonight? 140 or something?
I think the official number was about 143. When you do the maths of looking at all the various platforms that people were on. Because, of course, it doesn't all show up on the same platform, which makes life a little bit difficult for us when we work out the numbers. But, about 143, I think it was in the end, which is pretty substantial. It's a lot of people. Interesting to see that we've got the Red Beacon group just getting a little bit of a breakaway gone from Andy Singleton. This Red Beacon group, as Russ could no doubt see on his screen, is a bit of a big one here. Because the bus is formed very early here, and it's pushing hard for the line. Singleton's got the gap at the moment. We've got Clark, Fulton, Jones, Sandler, Scotland. Looks like Gagan in here, Pattison in here. Really is a who's who. But look at this big kick in for the line, and Andy Hawes, the Red Beacon's gone. He's going to get them. He's going to roll him on the line. There we go. So Andy Hawes goes through just ahead of Clark, Sadler, Patterson. Following Gagan in there from the Aeonian squad. Singleton goes through along with Jessup. So our Red Beacon group in and through the line as well. A busy chain gang, and good to see everybody, I think, in and home.
Yeah, is that allowed for the Red Beacon to actually sprint, or?
I don't know, Andy. We have to say
if it's allowed.
I don't know. We might have to. We could hand him a week span, but Andy, we need Andy every now and then to step in when we have missing riders. And got to say, he's definitely a good spot. I think he deserved it after towing the. I think the group formed at about kilometre 1. So look at that. It was agreed. So he says everybody had agreed to that one. So there you go. So great
that's
to
great.
see.
Let the guy who controlled the gruppetto take the sprint. Like it.
Yeah,
good to see the sport's still alive and got some respect.
I'm loving the fact that they're all jumping to his defence as well. Andy Singleton, we had an agreement to sprint, Matt. Brilliant, which is great to see, and that's what we want. It's that spirit all the way through the chain gang. 2 chain gangs this week. We are going to have 3 next week. We've got our 2 open Donny Chaingangs. Then we've got the women's only Wednesday on, guess when? Wednesday. But a busy week next week. Really looking forward to that. In the meantime, Russ, a busy weekend coming up, or are you going to try and have a relatively quiet one? Because it's going to be a busy period coming up soon.
I don't know. Everything's a blur at the minute, mate. It's just a roll on. It's probably going to be assembling some furniture or painting some nursery walls or something. So yeah, busy, but it's all going well, and not got long left now. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, definitely going to definitely think you're busy now. You're going to be even busier soon. I hope you enjoy your painting. I'll think of you when I'm stood at the National Cross Champs and watching that unfold and putting words to the action. If you are going down from the Donny Chaingang, if you're riding or racing at any race this weekend, good luck. Enjoy. Remember, no dress rehearsals, and make sure you go at the right time. You won't have Russ whispering in your ear, go. You got to work that one out for yourself. Russ, great to have the chain gang rolling around Greater London. I'll catch up with you, no doubt, next week. Yeah,
good commentary, Matt, and yeah, good luck to everyone at the weekend in the Nationals, and yeah, thanks for the ride tonight. It was a good one. Cheers.
So great to hear from Russ there. Our riders just warming down. I said I'm going to be down at the National Cyclocross Championships down at Ardingly. If you're not planning on going, if you're in the area, get yourselves down. Stay safe out there. Make sure you give loads of space and room. Give us a wave. It's probably going to be a socially distanced one over the weekend. We've still got one more in real life gig after this one to get through before we can afford any kind of isolation. So you probably see me going like this in the distance if we're not absolutely flat out. It's going to be a really busy weekend. Good luck to all our riders. Good luck to anyone who is racing. Please, guys, make sure you stay safe. We'll catch you next week for the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, live here on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel.